that field and how they got tangled up together. They fired amongst themselves, and to make it even more confusing, Moore's brigade was lined up just on the other side of the road we're about to cross. Somewhere between 250 and 300 rifles, and they were firing into this mix of Illinois' troops, throwing them into more confusion. Moore's brigade, as I mentioned, starting out with nearly 1,900 men a few days before, now down to between 250 to 300. These are men from Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, and the 2nd Texas. They just had their commander, William P. Rogers, killed in front of the batteries at Corinth the day before. Moore himself was a West Point officer, class of 1849. Done a lot of fighting on the western plains. And he was the first colonel of the 2nd Texas before he was promoted. Promoted for his performance at Shiloh. Now his men liked him, but he was a rough customer. One of them said that the first day he joined the 2nd Texas, he saw the colonel and said he was a good man, but he was not a Christian. He was red-headed, red-bearded, red-faced, and could swear. And that very day, I realized I had joined a regiment of devils. Well, those devils were lined up along Burr's Branch, and they fired 3 volleys into that mix of the 14th and 15th Illinois. And the 14th and 15th Illinois, being led by Colonel Cyrus Hall, stopped. They had to readjust their ranks. And they did it in the corn on the reverse side of that slope. The Confederates could not see them. What they could see was this field here, and the 25th Indiana and the 46th Illinois charging and screaming at the top of their lungs. Moore had to forget the danger that he had seen and was gone in front of him, and he had to face the danger to his left. So he repositioned his men. They were lined up facing this direction. So he repositioned them, like so. Changed front. They fired at those men from Illinois and Indiana. Accepted a volley in return. And then Moore later wrote how the enemy came crashing out of the trees and the corn. Those men of the 14th and 15th Illinois had gotten back in ranks, and they charged at Moore, and they hit him directly on his right flank and just rolled up that Confederate line. Moore's men began to break for the bridge, just a few hundred yards behind me. A few stopped to fire, most were running. They had no artillery support. Dawson's battery had been silenced. Every horse was dead. Over 70 horses in a pile just behind me, about 100 yards. They could not take off those cannons. All 4 of those bronze howitzers were left to the enemy. Now they did try to pull a few by hand, but it was a hopeless cause. And they left the cannons for the enemy. And the men of Dawson's artillery ran across the bridge, as did the 1st Texas Legion. The cavalry was already, they were already crossing the Mississippi line, headed south. The Union line was advancing without any hindrance, and the Confederates were running as fast as they could to the safety of the east bank of the river.